Hi again and welcome to the playlist section. So in this part we'll be taking a look at the features within the playlist, giving you an overview in the same way that we have been so far. I'll also be using the playthrough project file to best demonstrate things. So first of all, let's open the playlist. You can either press F5 on your keyboard or use the playlist tab on the shortcut panel. Now you'll notice that a lot of the playlist functions are going to be similar, if not identical, to those contained within the piano roll. So assuming you've already watched the video on the piano roll and step sequencer, you should have the upper hand in this section. So let's begin by talking a little bit about the main function of the playlist. The playlist is used primarily to arrange or sequence all elements within the project in order to create the final song. Along the left of the window, you'll notice numbered track tabs. And these are multi-purpose in that we can place not only patterns on them, but also audio clips and automation clips, which we'll cover down the line. You can place any clip type on any track and even overlay them if need be. In the same way we selected elements in the piano roll, let's use the black bar at the top to select everything and delete this current arrangement so that I can show you how to load patterns and audio clips in. So you'll notice that by default the playlist is set to use the paint tool as opposed to the draw tool, and this is because the arrangement of the song is made on a horizontal axis, and being able to paint multiple patterns or clips across the screen at once is essential. So if you look at the pattern select window, you'll see that we're set to pattern 2, and so when I left click into the playlist, that pattern will appear. So let's just correlate the pattern number and track number within the playlist to keep things simple. So I'll put pattern 2 on track 2, go up to pattern 3, I can keep that on track 3. And so on and so forth. Now you don't have to keep things ordered like this if you don't want to. I mean, I certainly don't, but it's really up to you. But in essence, this is the basic premise of arrangement. But let's save an in-depth look at arrangement for a later video. Now let's try adding one of the audio clips in. We can drag a sample straight from the browser into the playlist, but since I already have some effect sounds loaded in, we just have to locate them within the channel rack. So let's go to the effects group. And once you have the audio clip that you want to place in the playlist, simply click on it or highlight it, and then return to the playlist and left click to bring it in. Now up to the toolbar here, which is exactly the same as the piano rolls toolbar, and each option performs exactly the same thing. The only difference is that we have a new addition called Slip, which I'll cover in just a second. So we have the playlist options, snap to grid, draw, paint, delete, mute, and then this new slip function, cut, select, zoom, and playback. So you're already familiar with all those. So now the slip edit function is only available whenever a pattern has been sliced, and what it does is it slides clips left or right relative to the timeline whilst keeping the start and end points of the clip the exact same. So let me demonstrate by first slicing the last beat off the hi-hat pattern, and then I'll use the slip edit to nudge the note over while keeping the pattern in line. I'm just going to solo the hi-hat pattern here. In fact, I'll use the clap pattern instead. And you can see how it moves it there relative to the timeline. So over to the main drop-down menu on the left. We basically have the same functions as the piano roll menu. Edit again contains all of your quick shortcuts. Tools only contains one option this time around, which is a quick quantize function that aligns the selected patterns to whatever snap you have chosen your grid settings. From there on we have the usual generic controls such as view, snap, select, zoom and so on. We also have current clip source down here, which is useful for locating patterns in audio, and also automation clips if you have quite a large project. Below that, the performance mode. This option isn't relevant to this course, but if you are interested in doing a bit of live work with FL Studio, go ahead and consult the manual or the various tutorials online. And finally here we have center and detach, which centers the playback marker, and also detach will detach the playlist from FL Studio, which is necessary when using a 2-monitor setup. So below the drop down menu we have 3 icons which allow us to focus on each clip type respectively. The first is audio clip focus, which brings up 2 options. Now when zero crossing is checked, any slicing and resizing will be done so on a zero crossing basis, meaning that it will slice to a specific point to help avoid clicks at the slice point. The downside is that you won't be able to determine precise slice locations, so I tend to leave this off and work manually instead. Next to zero crossing here is a stretch mode, and when this is activated, dragging an audio clip either left or right will stretch it on a time basis. So let me just quickly show you. And there you see it stretching. I'll just turn that back off again. We can also right click any of these 3 icons to bring up a list of what is currently available within each section. So there's our available audio clips, and so on and so forth. Now we can leave the automation icon alone for now and move on to the pattern icon. Now the 3 options available here are all to do with colouring your patterns, which isn't something we have to look at. Each option will link its parent colour respectively, and may be useful if you prefer to use colour coding to help keep things organised in a larger arrangement. So let's take another look at the tracks here on the left. We can drag the edges up or down to resize them individually. And like we did in the channel rack, clips can be moved by holding shift and scrolling up or down. The green light again is a mute function, and if we right click this we have even more of the usual sort of generic options that we've already explored, such as rename, color, icons, and so on. And finally, it's not often that you would require more than the 199 tracks that are currently available here, so as you see as I scroll down there's plenty of room to work with. And yeah, I think that covers everything you need to know about the playlist. Now that we've covered most of the fundamental basics within FL Studio, we can get on our way to creating the song itself. So I'll see you in the next video for the first part of the drums.